Phoenix Down Radio is on the air. With your hosts, Klaus Nightbringer, Sertamono, Seyo Mayo, and Luna Vox.
Welcome everybody to episode 12 of Phoenix Down Radio. I am your host, Klaus Nightbringer. I'm going to go ahead and bring us into the show, and there we go. With us, we have a full house. Say hello to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Sayo, are you there?
Say, dear, you're muted.
Oh, he's probably there, but we do have a special guest today with us from all the way from Limit Break Radio. We have one Eskalia Rayomasa. Hey, Eskalia, thanks for joining us this week. Uh-oh.
Maybe joining us.
Hopefully. Oh, I'm here.
There he is.
Oh,
For whatever reason, I can't hear Klaus, though. I can only hear everyone else.
Really?
Uh-oh.
That's
strange.
That is rather odd. Darn it, Discord, why you gotta be that way? Anyway, I guess it is what it is.
Hop out and hop back in.
Yeah, but give me yeah, you hop out, I'll hop out, we'll get back in. It is one of those weird things. Is it working now?
No. Answer would be no.
I'm gonna take that as a no. Why you have to be that way?
You guys might have to completely connect and then reconnect.
Oh, man.
I know it's a pain in the butt.
Welcome to Phoenix Down Radio, where nothing goes right when it comes to audio.
Exactly.
All right, so at least it's happening at the beginning of the show.
Not cursed.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm closing out of our Discord on this side. You can still hear me. I'll be opening it back up in just a second. So I do apologize for that. But like I said, what's an episode of Phoenix Down Radio without a little bit of screwing up like that?
Oh, back Eskalia?
Yeah, we've been having issues before almost every show as of late. Like, we had problems before episode 49 galore. We had a monitor explode before the show began. We had a power outage during the episode. My camera started having troubles during the green room video. My internet went out when I tried to stream later that evening. And then when I was editing that green room video later, the video failed to upload to YouTube, and there was a big issue with that. So maybe by having me here, the curse has transferred successfully, and you will now all have to find another show to pass the curse along to.
Did you recently build a studio on an ancient Indian burial ground?
Well, I mean, the Indians were still there at the time. We had to kill them first.
And then you buried them, didn't you?
We got there.
Can you hear me now?
And we all hear each other now.
Oh my god, I hear you, Klaus.
Oh, we have successfully exorcised the demons.
You don't sound German at all.
What do you mean?
Okay, there it is. That was more what I was expecting.
Well, sorry about that. All right, so...
He's not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. So, we have quite the show today. First of all, for those of you who joined us in the last episode, thank you so much for sticking around. We normally don't go 3 hours, but we had so much to talk about. We had such a good time that we actually forgot a couple of things at the end of the last episode, so I wanted to throw them out right away. We wanted to throw out a couple of special shout-outs. First shout-out we want to throw out to Rubicon and Yalta out of Gather Together. They mentioned us on the last couple of episodes that they had. I guess Ruby's been listening to a few of our episodes, and he's really been enjoying Sarah's lore segments. So we appreciate them listening and mentioning us, so I wanted to give them a shout-out as well.
Ruby, I don't know why you're encouraging me, but I will not shut up. I will never shut up. I have heard what you want, and you will receive it.
Once you get them started, yep, there's no turning back.
Sarah, I have so many opinions, guys.
Sarah, I never want you to.
That can be arranged.
Yeah, please don't shut up, sir.
And then I'm going to throw another special shout out to our friend and another podcaster, Chili, from the PlayStation Unchained podcast over in the UK. This guy has definitely jumped on board the Phoenix Down Radio bandwagon, and we really can't thank him enough for all of his support and enthusiasm. So thank you to you guys, and thank you to everybody who's checking us out live today at Twitch TV/Phoenix Down Radio. We really enjoy having everybody here. So like I said, how's everybody doing? It's been a couple weeks since we had our last show. So what's new with everybody?
Well, I ended up getting my 210 relic, so
Yay.
finally done with that
Congratulations
grind.
on that.
Now you can quit the game.
Yay, until 3.
Until the next stuff comes out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I know it's not quite as huge, but I got a 3 jobs level to the point where I was able to get rid of like 15 slots worth of armor, which is like the most beautiful feeling, guys.
That's actually huge.
That's very huge.
Yeah.
And Yoshi, if you're listening, that's why we need more armory space. Please, please, please.
Like, people say, oh, the currency is like Gil or this other. The currency in any MMO is your inventory space. The moment you get more inventory space, everything you get will expand to fill it. That is just the way it works.
Yes. Want more. You can never have enough.
We can never have enough.
Never have enough in the MMO.
We need more gobby bags, damn it.
Oh yeah, those quests need to come back. I want to go collect 3 or 4 random items so that he can call me a Greedalox.
Right? Hey, I loved having the Greedalox title.
Grand
It's a
Greedalox.
grand Greedalox.
I don't think I ever got that
If
far,
you like
though.
that, you can call me anything you want to, honey.
Have
Pretty
you
much.
been in 11 lately? Do you know how much inventory space there is in that game?
I think
And it's still never enough.
320 just on your person. Am I correct?
Well, let's see. You've got 80 in your Mog safe, 80 in storage, 80 in your locker, 80 in your sack, 80
Don't
in your
forget Mog
satchel,
Safe too.
80 in your Mog safe too, 80 in your inventory, 80 in your wardrobe, and 80 in your case. That is 800 inventory.
Still not enough.
See, Yoshi, it can be done.
Yeah,
Can
so
take
yeah,
it.
what's 14's excuse?
Exactly.
Our servers
is
are
it the PS3?
not up.
Is the
You
PS3
can
the
buy
excuse?
more retainers.
PS3 limitations.
Oh God, no. No, I'm not buying
Just-
more retainers.
Let it die, please.
Or
I'm
we
still trying
can.
to figure out why I have retainers. Why are retainers a thing?
So you can have a $10,000 a day retainer habit. Duh.
I thought it was, well, at least it's not a 10,000 day coke habit like we had when we were building airships.
That Coke went to a very good cause.
Yeah, the after party when we finished the airships.
I admit nothing.
Exactly.
Why else would there be a little table down in the corner of the airship?
You know about the table?
That has all that little white powder on it.
about the table.
Moving on.
Guys, at least clean up when you're done, okay?
Right? Come on.
Don't tell me what to do with my Thursday
Is-
nights.
So it sounds like
why it was so sticky.
everybody's been up to a lot of coke lately. So, speaking of coke parties, Eskalia. Just kidding.
No,
Bad.
you're right. You're not far off. Let me tell you something. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, okay?
Okay.
Anyway, we've got you on for a couple reasons. One, you're just an all-around awesome guy. And 2,
Okay.
you've got a charity stream coming up. Why don't you tell us a
That's
little bit
right.
about that?
Sure. So Friday, March 11th, we have the You're Not Alone charity stream. It is kind of the unofficial sequel to Seeds of Acceptance, which ran back in August. That was a charity stream that I ran for Go Affirmations, which is a charity right here in Michigan that benefits people of basically not normal genders, quote unquote normal. It helps them with all kinds of things from if you just need someone to talk to, or if you need resources or counseling, or even they do offer some forms of help for actually getting hormones or whatever you need to get started during that transition. It was an awesome event. We played through FF8, took us about 25 hours to clear, and we raised over $2,000 for that charity, and it was an incredible event. This time around, we're hoping to break that number. We're going to be playing through Final Fantasy IX, and yeah, so
Title makes sense.
I'm super excited to play Final Fantasy IX because that was actually my first Final Fantasy game that I played. and I haven't played it in years now, so I'm looking forward to getting back in, doing that playthrough. It will be start to finish in one sitting, just as the last one was. All proceeds will again be going to charity. This time it's going to a charity called Transgender Michigan, which provides a hotline that can be called from anywhere in the world that provides all sorts of support and resources for people who are transgendered. And they've gotten calls from literally, like I say, all over the world, including lots of countries where it is not okay to be transgender. There is no support around there for them. So they do an awesome cause with that, and they also work with other community programs in different areas throughout the country to help provide support and resources for people. So again, that'll be at twitch.tv/limitbreakradio, Friday, March 11th at 5 o'clock. I hope to see everybody there, and I hope everyone can come and donate as much as possible. But even if you can't make a donation, just come and hang out with us. It'll be a great time.
Yeah, tell your friends about it. Let people know about it. You know, if you just want to go to watch Eskalia, play through the game because you enjoy the game, laugh at him because he made this stupid mistake, like most people do, or whatever. Just have some fun with it. Check it out. We linked to it on phoenixdownradio.com. So if you want to check that out, we have links directly to everything there. So check it out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually sick right now, but I'm actually kind of glad that I'm sick right now because I probably won't be next month, and that was like my biggest worry is I would get sick or something would just go horribly wrong. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully everything gets better.
Fingers crossed for the Steam release too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get that Steam release so you can play it a little bit easier than having to connect your emulator or something.
I am so hopeful that this stupid thing will release on PC. Like, it's sitting there teasing me and just staring me in the face with its available early 2016 because I know Square Enix, and that could easily mean June. And they'll be like, well, it is early in 2016.
Yeah, June 29th, right?
Yeah, June 29th. That's the first half, right?
Mhm.
I don't really know what to do about it. All I can sit here and play it with my dick waiting for it to come out. So,
Right.
There's some imagery.
So just a
yeah,
curiosity.
just picture like a scrawny white guy just like stroking his dick looking at the screen, and that's what you got. That's my
And there went our PG rating.
Oh yeah.
We
I'm
tried.
sorry, do I have to keep it PG on this show?
Oh, it's all right.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it's all right.
I should have
we're
asked
done.
beforehand.
Oh, it's all
Yay,
good.
the Luna can be unleashed.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yes.
Well,
Here we go.
everybody gets one.
So about those dicks.
Yeah, about the penis.
But yeah, guys, in all seriousness, go support Callie here. It's a good cause. It's a fun time. I know I'm definitely going to be there. I'm going to drag Klaus with me if I can.
Oh, I'll be there already. I was there during Seeds of Acceptance.
Well, I'm dragging you with me this time. So
I'm gonna resurrect Team Palindrome. Damn it.
Yes, that was so much fun last time. We had Team Fixers, Team Breakers, and Team Palindrome, and they were battling to keep the current donation total either a nice, neat number, a ugly, broken number, or as a palindrome. And I think Team Palindrome did end up winning it.
With 210012.
Yep, 2,112 cents was the final number. So Team Palindrome did end up taking the win on that one.
Yep, we have to continue it. Come on.
Oh my god, guys, we're nerds.
And Chili's gonna be there for the penis.
Well, don't you worry. I assure you, there will probably be penis.
penis for everyone.
I have been
You
being
get
asked
a
if-
penis, and you get a penis. Everyone gets a penis.
That's
All
the
right,
new.
Luna, the
I would
judge
wa-
already told you can't be saying that in schools anymore.
I'm not.
I
at
would
school,
watch
don't worry about
Oprah if
it.
that happened.
I think
Like,
we've
I
got
would
our title,
actually legitimately
people.
watch Oprah.
All right.
Dicks everywhere.
I hate this is the terrible thing to move on to, but we're gonna go into some of the game news. Start with something that wasn't very happy news, but it's kind of we're all glad to kind of see it working this way. I don't know if you guys remember voice actress Shion Blake was found murdered with her children earlier this year. Her husband has been officially charged with her murder. So hopefully we can see some of the justice served for Shion and her family. So let's kind of keep
Much to the surprise of no one on that one.
Exactly. But like I said,
Yeah.
hopefully justice is served here and we no longer have to worry about this asshole, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Not only as a player, but as a mother. Oh my.
Yeah. Well, like
Oh
I said,
my God.
let's just get that out of the way so it's
Yeah.
people know about it.
No.
We can move on with our lives and keep going. So,
It's definitely something that's definitely something that's hard. Even when you have news like that, you want justice, you want to be able to grieve, but at the same time, I don't know. The entire thing just feels kind of gross, and it makes you sad.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
nothing's going to make you feel better about it, but at the same time, fuck that guy.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
Okay, yeah, that about sums it
Yeah,
up.
that's one time when
Yeah,
I'll
fuck
definitely
that
allow
guy.
that. Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Okay, so let's do try and hold back some of the profanities.
Save it
But-
for the after party.
Yeah, but yeah, one last time, fuck Arthur Simpson Kent. All right. So, Duty Commenced had their episode 10 over the last weekend, and they basically rehashed the live letter, and they had a little bit of a lore segment on Gerald and Rowena, which was Sarah found to be interesting. Was that right, Sarah?
First off, really interesting. Second, screw you guys for scooping me. I was totally going to talk about Rowena. I still am. Third, oh my god, do you know how to use PowerPoint? You don't just make a paragraph of text on your slides and read your slides. You put some inflection in. Okay, I'm not going to rap. I'm not going to rap.
Okay, we can get into this later.
Someone-
Sarah?
Someone take
Repress.
away their copy of PowerPoint.
Goose
That's all I-
Fraba. Goose Fraba.
I'm sorry, I wanted to hear Sarah go off on that again.
Just
don't
take
worry.
away their copy of PowerPoint, please.
I was reading your guys' outline beforehand. And I saw that little rant that he had going on. I was like, wow, this is just like being on LBR. This is post-show LBR with a Nero chewing us out.
The salt is real here. We're all
It's not salt, it is basic design principle.
Salt.
To be fair, I actually felt you because I went to Specs Howard and did all kinds of video programming and imagery work with that stuff. And yeah, like lesson 1 was how to PowerPoint and not suck at it.
yeah.
It is an art that many people need to learn.
Well,
My professor always used to say you shouldn't read a single word that appears on your PowerPoint slide.
I mean, like, if they really want that, they could provide copies for people afterwards to post on the websites they go crazy about. But you don't have, if you're reading your slides, something has gone wrong in your life.
Or you're a high school student who's just trying to get through the 5-minute presentation.
Something has gone wrong with your life.
Well, if you're 27 and still in high school, yes, but
Yeah.
otherwise,
All right, Klaus.
commenced,
I'm sorry, we didn't all graduate right on time. I'm getting there.
Duty commenced. I still love you guys. Please don't ban my account.
yeah.
That's not a thing they do, right?
All right.
Instead, hire Sarah.
I don't. I'm not sure that they watch us yet, so maybe they'll hire you instead, Sarah.
Sweet. I'm gonna swear about them more.
Yeah, because we know that works, right? Swearing gets
Probably.
everybody to either love you or hate you.
Yeah, definitely.
I like
We
those
learned that
odds.
earlier.
It's worked for us so far.
There you go. All right, so a new interview with Yoshi P on the mentor system came out on the PlayStation blogs today. Read through that, and there wasn't a lot of new information. Did y'all get a chance to read through that interview?
I kind
I-
of skimmed through it.
I skimmed it.
I have
As
not
you
had
were
the
reading
chance,
it.
actually.
Okay, I did link it in our notes, and we'll probably link it on the show notes afterwards. But one little thing that I did notice that I'm taking note of, if you and your mentor form a party and go into a dungeon, both of you will gain more experience than usual. This will also happen when you participate in a fate, which appear in open world. So that's kind of cool that if you are working with the little green sprouts, you will get bonus XP. So I'm assuming that's going to go on top of our armory bonus XP. So hello, fast leveling.
I guess, but that's still kind of awkward. Like, you already have to have one of each role leveled to 60 to be a mentor. So I guess it's fine if you want to level a second one of that role.
What if you want to level everything?
Because
Oh,
you're a
what
completionist?
Yeah,
Oh,
This just in?
then you can get your mods cap and be happy.
right. This just in. Luna's taking applications for green leafs. So if you want to have Luna Senpai,
Yep.
Just,
The line starts to the left.
Just go into Old or Limsa or to maybe a little bit of a lesser extent Grid and just go fishing for green sprouts through the Adventurers Guild. You're going to find somebody.
But
Right.
most of
I
them
mean-
are going to shout to buy their gill.
I mean, on the one
God.
hand, people be like, "Oh, I'm going to exploit the system all I can." I'm not sure, but if it's like, "I'm going to exploit this by being helpful and nice to people and like say things that help out," then it's like, Okay, I'm okay with that. You just keep trying to cheat the system by being pleasant and productive.
Damn you
I'm
and
okay
your
with that.
pleasantness. How dare you?
Yay, pleasantness.
Like, that reminds me, this past week I made a Twitter post that kind of got some recognition saying, if you're going to be a dick, don't become a mentor. Do it because you love the game and you actually want to freaking help people. That's basically it. That's it. Don't be a mentor to troll people. Don't be a mentor to belittle people. Do it because you want to help people and you enjoy the game and you want to spread that enjoyment to other people.
I think people are going to become a mentor to get swag duty roulettes.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why they took away the tome bonuses, though, I think. So,
Mhm.
Hashtag swaggerlet.
Well, you get swag roulettes because you still get priorities for people who will give you the bonus.
maybe they took that away too. Who knows? If you queue up in the mentor roulette portion of it.
We'll see when we get the actual notes.
Yeah, there's still a lot that hasn't been fully hashed out, and we won't really know it until we get to play the game. Damn it, 3.2, get here faster. We're all bored.
Yeah, is it late February yet?
Probably.
We only wish. So over the last 2 weeks, Square has been dropping a lot of the sneak previews for 3.2, the different dungeons, trials, beast tribes. Been a lot of cool screenshots that they've been showing us. What do you guys think of what they're showing so far?
I'm actually pretty hyped.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things that I'm seeing. A lot of terrifying things I also saw. But
Lots of
we'll get to that.
Are you talking about the Kalka and Brina
You
fight?
know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Chucky-
You sound-
Chucky's
sound
little sister?
terrifying.
So beautiful.
They did make that look creepy as hell.
Right? Oh my god. I think I found what I'm gonna cosplay at FanFest.
Oh, you're gonna
Oh,
cause as
God.
full Kalka Brina?
Yeah.
Oh
I-
boy.
We
Oh,
can't
boy.
hang out anymore.
No, we can, Sarah. We can hug. Come play with me, Sarah. Come
For
play
once,
with
I am
me.
not okay with hugs.
Luna, what have you done? And can we keep it
Oh,
up?
the best things.
That Sephiroth fight, though, that looks pretty crazy. That second half there, after he flies backwards and just comes all huge genie on us like that.
Yeah, the thing that really interests me is the very beginning, because that sounds like how do you pronounce her name? Kryl?
Oh, that voice?
Yeah, the voice in the beginning. So it sounds like you're deliberately releasing him. So I kind of want to know why. Why are we doing this?
Maybe it's something where it's like
Probably the
hey,
only
we
way to
can-
kill it.
or you release him so that you can actually fight him on your terms instead of waiting for him to be at full power, kind of thing.
That's an
I
interesting
feel
way
like
to
I've
think
seen
about it.
other fights with that
We
idea.
won't know.
We know
You,
if they'd actually.
you mean like before they complete the Death Star?
something
Yeah.
like that?
I don't think there's Death Stars in this game, are there?
Eh,
That's somewhere else in a
Download?
galaxy far, far away.
yeah. Just dig a bit further underneath Cartano. You'll probably find something.
Yeah.
Everything is underneath Cartano. It is really crowded under there.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Comb the desert.
it's like the Allegan. It's like the Allegan landfill.
Have you found anything yet? I'm waiting for it. Come on, somebody.
Not yet, sir.
It's been a while. I don't remember the line that comes out.
Say, have you found anything yet?
It's the worst thing is I want to do the whole movie now.
We'll save that for another episode. We make you come back sometime.
I think Mel Brooks
Phoenix
is going to send
down.
us angry letters.
Phoenix Down Radio, episode 500. We just read the script for Spaceballs.
Thank you, Marth. Thank you, Marth, in the chat. We ain't found shit.
There it is.
That's the one.
Hey,
Oh,
I did
wild.
say that. We ain't found shit.
We didn't hear it, though. So if we didn't hear it, it didn't happen.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway,
I'm pretty
there
sure
was a
there's
lot
something in
more.
physics about that.
Yeah, there was a lot that they released. Most of
Yeah.
it, like I said, we have links to most of those. We have posts on our website, phoenixdownradio.com. So if you want to check out more of that, it links straight to Lodestone. Plus, we have pretty pictures there, so go check it out. We won't bore everybody with all the details because we want to talk about the trailer. That trailer, that
Ah.
really, that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
If there's
I was
anything,
very pleasantly surprised with that trailer.
well, if there's anything that Square Enix is good at, it's their hype trailers. The hype trailers always kind of get the blood flowing a little bit.
Well, hell, the hype
Mhm.
trailer for Verminion was actually decent.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
though the
it's
content is
bad
crap.
when it's bad when the
Welcome to
hype
the-
trailer moves the denim. That's not good.
Welcome to the part of the show where we rant about Verminion. Is that like a thing for us now? Is that our thing?
I think everybody
okay with
rants
that
about
being our
Verminion.
thing.
I don't
It's everybody's thing.
Yes,
Fair enough.
I know that you
Mhm.
rant about it on Limit Break Radio. I know that nobody likes it, so
Yeah, I'm actually logged in. I'm actually going to go over to the Gold Saucer to see how many people are playing right now.
oh, I can answer that for you already. It's 0.
I feel
Zero.
like I should go ahead and stomach through it just to get the minions, but
Yeah,
man,
I
I
can't
bet if
be
no one's
bothered.
participating, you could.
Go
If
ahead.
no one's participating, I could probably win some money in the tournaments. Apathy. Yes, apathy.
Well, you gotta have
You
somebody to play
know-
against first.
Damn it.
You know, we already know all about my vision with the Lords of Verminion and them doing that instead of putting more housing in. So
Oh, dear.
Yep, they
we're not
they
gonna go
with-
on that though because
because we
Dude,
don't want more
have
salt.
enough.
we
We have enough quality rants to fill an entire 5-hour thing.
yeah, we promised
just
ourselves
wants
we're
a
not
damn
going
house,
3
Essie.
hours. Come on, we're not going 3 hours this time. We promised.
But we have Callie here.
There's
Perfect opportunity.
there's 4 people playing the little Chocobo mini game outside the Verminion Hall,
Ooh.
and there's one AFK dude inside the Verminion Hall, and he happens to be standing exactly where you warp into.
Oh,
So
I was about ready to count that.
I think he was probably trying to go play the Out on a Limb or Finer Minor, but got called away for something more important.
All right, let's
pretty
just be
much.
clear. Out on a Limb is clearly the superior game.
It is.
Yeah. So I kind of like the whole target thing with Finer Minor too.
Phoenix
I'm gonna play Cuff and Cur.
Down Radio, where Klaus is wrong.
Yeah, you know what, guys? Why don't we have a little chat war here with Finder Miner versus Alan Lynn?
And go.
It's not a fight. Out on a Limb is way better.
I like them both.
We should totally have. We should have a little mini tournament, or just like a couple rounds after the show.
okay,
should.
let's do this. Do this.
Okay, but for now,
All right, we'll keep going. I'm actually hyped for the feast. I've been getting more into the PvP with the Friday night fights. Going up against Joe. This week was extremely slow. I think I got 2 fights in an hour, so I was like, screw that. But
What's your rank, Klaus?
I think I'm up to 35 now, so I got a
God
ways to go.
damn,
yet.
how'd you? Well, that's what I get for not PvPing forever.
Well, I think I've only
10
gained.
ranks above me now.
I've only gained like 3 ranks since starting Friday night fights.
So-
Hmm.
I
it
did
kind
do.
of sounds.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I did do quite a bit of Frontlines when that came out because that was kind of fun right away. Did a bunch of that and I ranked up to probably about 20, 25, and then did some Seal Rock because doing the weekly roulettes and the daily roulettes for that. But I don't know, I just got kind of bored of it.
I mean, it sounds kind of obvious, but it sounds like we're kind of in the pre-patch lull right now.
Oh, we definitely are.
Oh yeah,
Um,
a lot of people
Yeah,
are.
we need this patch because I can't even get on and do stuff anymore right now because I'm just waiting for certain things to happen,
Yeah.
especially with
I-
Black Mage.
Lately, I just get home, do my Beastman dailies, check on my retainers, yell at my retainers, send out my retainers, and go to bed.
I have been trying to get crafters up. I do have 2 crafters that are now 60, so I can be a mentor on those as well. But I mean, at least those are things you can do without having a bunch of people on. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to do content, I mean, even our static is on hold right now. Though most of it's because real life stuff, but still, it's one of those things.
So many
Yeah.
people's statics are not running right now. I know a bunch of them have just burned out either they're able to do it and it's boring, or they're not able to do it and it's mash your face against the keyboard frustrating and they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
We could all be like Arthars and go out for work on our 3rd and 4th relics, I suppose. But how does he do that?
Or
well-
Claw, for that matter.
Well, Arthur's is insane, I think is the word I'm trying to come across.
Or not human.
He's a madman, you see, and he finds entertainment where there shouldn't be any.
I was
And
going to
maybe
go
he
with
doesn't-
like he's 7 squirrels in a coat, and so they're just trading off. But I guess that works too.
Yeah,
Oh,
each
yeah,
one of them
no,
wants to run a
he's-
different one.
He's batshit crazy.
Mm.
But we still love him, right?
Oh yeah.
He actually has a very interesting opinion, and I love when he calls you guys. Always get really interesting opinions out of that. But yeah, he is something different. So what is everybody?
His first call with us was challenging, NA players to step up, which like everyone got super on board with. Like everyone loved that he was calling in as like a JP player, telling NA players to step up and work together and get better and do this content. And everyone got super on board with it. We're sitting there like, how come when we said get good, everyone got pissed?
That's a good point. But then then
Because-
people started doing it, and then and then it's like, screw this, I don't want to get good. That requires work. And they went
That
back to
requires
being
work, and the mechanics aren't really fun in the fight.
Yeah.
So
and they just went back to being bads.
Yeah, if the mechanics
That's,
aren't fun, like how much time can you reasonably expect people to actually put into it?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with a lot of that. We've been making our own fun of it. When we go out and do content, sometimes like Diadem or different things like that, the content itself isn't all that engaging. What makes it fun for us is the people we get with. So if you're lucky and you find that good group, then you can actually make the content fun. But yeah, for a lot of people, it is just a lot of keyboard smashing, face bashing, and eye rolling, and screw this, I quit stuff.
And I've got like 20 games on Steam that I still haven't touched.
There are other games.
that's
that's
what I'm
worrisome
told.
that people are jumping over and playing other things. Like what we're seeing is like it's always been the case. Like those last few weeks before a patch comes out, there'd be a lull. People were bored of the content. They're waiting for the new stuff to come out. But here's the issue: is that patches are starting to take longer amounts of time. So that lull period is getting longer because there's not more content coming out in each patch. So now what was once maybe those last 2 weeks is suddenly 4 weeks. And that's worrisome to me because a month is enough time for someone to say, "Wow, f this." That's a full payment cycle of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I see people take breaks, and with previous ones they take breaks, but then they come back when the new patch comes out to see what it is. It feels like the longer that the break is, and the less stuff before you left to do that, the less likely it is that you're even going to come back.
I actually had that with 11. I would take, a month break, then it would be 2 months, and then I took like a 5-month break, and I come back, and Midgard Stormer is gone, and I'm on Quetzalcoatl instead. And so then, that was kind of a eye-opener. It's like, what the hell? Where'd everybody go?
I think the good thing is, though, that I really don't think the time between 3.1 and 3.2 was that long. I think in the grand scheme of things, and in general patch cycle, I think the 3.1 to 3.2 gap was pretty small.
I feel like there's just less stuff to do in that gap.
Yeah, the patches are smaller, but I think what really hurt everybody was that big, the longer break they had between 3.0 and 3.1. That's where we lost a lot of people.
I'm not going to lie, that hurt.
And people
you
didn't come
expected
back.
when you had that 6-week delay in between 3.0 and 3.1, you expected a much bigger 3.1 patch, but you got one that was debatably smaller. We actually did on our show, we did a comparison between 3.1 and 2.1, and 2.1 was massively larger than 3.1 was.
Yeah, I think we got 1 fewer dungeons. We got a lot less storyline content.
8 missions, 1 fight.
That's
all that was in the story. 3.1 was brutal.
You can get through it in less than 3 hours.
Yeah, I was surprised at how fast.
And
like I ended up saving it for a while for when I'd have time to I can take an entire evening and really enjoy this. And it's like, okay, now what do I do with the rest of my evening?
7:30. Now what? And
yeah, lucky for me, I actually did mine immediately after the servers went up. I'm like, oh, I can do story now again. 2 hours later. Oh, I'm done story now, again.
Yeah, it wasn't that great of a story, really. I mean, it was okay, but...
Well, I thought the duty fight that you had where you go back into the vault, I thought that was actually a lot of fun once you figured out where to go.
Oh, yeah, no, that was pretty cool. Like, stuff that has you... I remember back with 3.0 release as well, the bit where you're running around in Halatali. That was really cool, going to a lot of these dungeons, using them as a set pieces for new stuff. It really breathes new life into a thing in a way that's really fun, and I love seeing that.
Yeah. It makes the world feel alive, lived in, and it makes those, dungeons that really have no physical location on the server, it makes them feel like real places.
It's like, oh yeah, this place has an existence outside of when I go run it to get gear.
One thing that worries me, though, is the way they're doing it now with 2 dungeons every patch. If one of those dungeons falls flat one of these times, like it's just bad, like they have to get it right with both those dungeons each time now. If one of those falls flat on one of these upcoming patches, I think of how awful that 6 week, or how long it is, 3.5 months is going to be. It's 3.5 months now between patches.
Yep.
And then they are going to get that much tired of the other dungeon that much faster.
Exactly.
Yep. Just like when everybody was spamming Brayflocks hard because you could just blow through it with tomes. Now nobody wants to touch that place.
Right, because, yeah, you're sick of it.
You're absolutely
Which is a pity, because it's a perfectly fine dungeon.
Oh, it is. I mean, you go back to it, a few months later, and it's not bad. But like I said, I spammed that how long to get all those myth tomes for books?
About
We
a
were
month,
crazy.
probably, right?
What's that?
About a month, probably, I would guess.
But it was a crazy month. But no, you're right. They need to really hit hard and get it right. And then hopefully with the new release of the new Alex Midas, I hope that has a lot better storyline and is more engaging than Gordius was.
Yeah, I ran Gordius once, and I never actually ended up running it again after that, which I feel a little bad about, but not that bad.
Well, I'm not a fan of the way they're doing the tokens for the items. Requiring you to get this amount for an accessory, this amount of this one for your body piece, headpiece, such and such, and then limiting you to 1 a week. That's kind of a crappy way to go about it. You're not going to get all your gear for 6-8 weeks.
Yeah,
I like how they're doing the Savage version, though.
Savage, like I said, that's yet to be seen when we see what the mechanics are like and what the actual difficulty is. But like I said, I mean, hopefully the difficulty level is toned down a bit and it's going to be closer to maybe A1 or,
This came up a little when we were talking earlier about it, and I'm kind of wondering, when they're doing like their design in terms of tuning the difficulty of stuff or how long things take, how many jobs do they expect a person to level, or do they expect your typical player to have? Do they expect to have like you have one of each or multiple of a particular thing, or do they expect that people are going to generally just have one job that they focus on? I kind of wonder what their actual expectations are going into the design.
That's a good question.
I'm going to say that they probably expect people to have one job just because of the way that the tome system has been laid out for the past.
I've mentioned in the past that they're well aware that lots of people are only going to level one job.
Fair enough.
Well, I mean, because most MMOs, that's what you get. You have one character that's locked into one job, and that's generally what you run. Occasionally, you're going to have a couple other alts to run different jobs if you want to do things on a different character. But, with Final Fantasy, you get that opportunity to run everything if you want to. But, most people still focus on their main.
Yeah, the capabilities there, I just wonder, like, how much people take advantage of it. Maybe that the armory chest thing isn't a problem if you're not filling it with gear for every single job. I don't know.
I fill my armory chest up with one job's gear pretty well. I don't know how, but I do.
Yeah, I was about to ask
Glamour?
how that even happens.
Is it all? It's got to be all the glamour, right?
Well, yeah, that's a part of it.
You gotta look good. You gotta look good.
Yeah, you gotta look good when you're lying on the floor.
Well, if they're gonna call glamour the end game and give me a job that I die all the time, yeah, I'm gonna look good.
I'm really
often I'm face down, ass up. That ass better look great.
He's got a point.
Yep. I'm really looking for them to change the glamour system to something more akin to like DCUO or I think Guild Wars 2 had it or something. I'm not sure.
Well, hell, even WoW
which
has
exactly
that.
had it. But yeah, WoW has that now where you just click a piece of gear and obtain a piece of gear, and boom, you now own that piece of gear for like style purposes, and you can just change to it whenever you want without having it take up any inventory.
Yeah,
like the
people
glamour
have definitely
encyclopedia.
asked for that before. I would love it.
And it would definitely free up a lot of inventory space, so we wouldn't have to worry about all those server load issues, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Yoshi, get on it.
Please.
All right, we kind of got on a little bit of a tangent there, but
It happens.
it's all things that we want to see going forward, and it's part of when we're waiting for patches, stuff like this happens. So
That is pretty much the waiting for patch activity. Start speculating on what you want to see.
yep, or leave the game for Blade and Soul,
Ugh.
boobs and sticks.
Yeah, I think we've made enough enemies talking about that one.
Oh, I know there's a lot of other players, a lot of other streamers that have been playing that. I know some of them are paid, some of them just want to see the boobs, but I never actually played that game, so.
Listen, I like boobs as much as the next guy, but they have this awesome thing called Google.
Yes.
And believe it or not, if you type boobs in there, you can see boobs for free. And some of them are even attractive.
You know what? I got one better. I can just look down. Bam!
Oh.
There they are.
Okay, well,
That feels
Luna,
like cheating.
listen,
No. It's an advantage.
in order to me gaining 200 pounds, I'm probably never going to get to do that.
Well,
Wait, what now?
If I gain 200 pounds, then I can look down and see boobs too. But
So what you're saying is the only thing standing in the way of your dreams is yourself.
or plastic
in the
surgery.
most awkward possible way, yes.
Can always get plastic surgery. Moving on.
True.
So what do you guys think about that parser, not parser?
I
It's
think
a
you just
parser.
described it perfectly.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, in the trailer we can see a dragoon not parsing. Parsing, not parsing.
Like, as long as the music is sufficiently dramatic and awe-inspiring, I'm cool with it.
It's I can guarantee you that it's the old Be Right Cunt theme.
Why can't we just call it what it is? It's a parser. Come on, guys.
And give us some numbers so we
Yeah,
don't always
give
have
us-
to rely on third parties or our friends who are running those third parties, because heaven forbid we would never run those things, right? Right?
That would be wrong.
That's naughty. They don't allow those things in game, you guys.
Speak for yourself.
Right?
Hey, now you can start banning people for that stuff when you put that stuff in the game.
That exactly
Okay.
that. Like, if you don't want people to use it, put it in your damn game.
Yep. Let people come up with the officially sanctioned one. Otherwise, let people use what they're using. It's not
No,
hurt-
once there's one that is out and is functional, you are well within your rights to say, okay, this is what we've given you, this is what we want in the game, this is what it's going to be. Don't use anything else. But if you're not going to put anything like that in the game, then piss off.
Exactly. So put some numbers on this thing or go away.
We are simple creatures. We like numbers. We like to be able to evaluate ourselves using these numbers.
Sarah has
Fuck
his
you,
spread.
Square Enix. Now I'm actually asking you for math. You're making me ask for math.
Oh God.
Oh my god, it's so beautiful!
Sarah has spreadsheets he needs to fill out.
I have so many spreadsheets, you have no idea.
We know. The orchestrian's kind of an interesting thing, though.
Yay, a jukebox.
Apparently, all SC sees it for is Papaya, but
That was I laughed my ass off when they started playing Papaya.
well, it wasn't going to be
Papaya,
anything
papaya,
else
papaya.
because it's probably Devin and Matt making those trailers, so it's not going to be anything else ever.
But that is the song, and the last end boss of the game is going to be playing Papaya. Papaya, papaya, papaya.
That's gonna be
It
the
sounds like something out of Evangelion.
Really?
So we're going to be fighting another giant robot? An Eva?
Exactly.
Um,
And it's going to be
We're
like, this
already
is a
fighting
world-ending...
Voltron in the next patch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
to that point, then-
right here. We're done. We're good.
And
Yeah,
so the battle theme is going to be Papaya?
Sure.
Papaya.
The metal version of it?
Morphin Power Range. Wait, fuck,
And
that's
like-
the Turtles theme.
Papaya.
And like, they'll have some NPC shrieking in pain as it starts to devour their mind and soul, and then
We'll just have the
papaya starts
Windhelm
up.
scream, like ah. Anyone?
Oh,
I
that
just
will
enjoy getting to hear a
scream.
Wilhelm scream.
I'm losing the podcast, people.
Klaus. Did you ever really have it?
No, it's all good.
Yeah. Did you?
Well, my mind, no, but
Oh,
In his
Sage
hopes and
Veracast.
dreams.
Veracast, that is an actually awesome tidbit of information that I was unaware of. I love that.
Hmm.
The orchestrion is programmed for 3D sound, so it will change based on where you stand in the room.
yep. And I'm not sure how I really feel about that because I mean it's a cool idea in theory, but you put that on in the basement, you're not going to be able to hear it on the top floor.
Don't
Then
put your
don't put it in the
orchestrion in the
basement.
basement. We got a
But-
sweet
Dude.
hype jukebox. Why are you putting it in the
Dude.
basement?
We are freaking problem solvers here.
But we're
Or
not-
do put it in the basement, and then you can have like your bedrooms upstairs, and then your parents don't have to hear the rad party you're having, where all of your friends are breaking into the liquor cabinet
Better
to,
still, buy 3
make an example at
orchestrions.
random.
Just by
Ooh,
I wonder if you can have more than one in the house.
that's a good question.
and have them all play different songs.
Or the same song just on different spots.
Ooh,
Ooh,
that's cruel.
tricky.
I like it.
I mean, experiment and trying to drive someone insane as they walk into your house.
And then you take a lot of drugs and see if like the crafting music lines up with, I don't know, what kind of plays do they put on Gridania? I lost the thread of this example I was making up.
Drugs are
It's like
bad.
that
news,
thing
no
with
idea
man.
what
Dark
you're
Side of the
talking about,
Moon.
sir.
It's
Yeah.
like-
It's like that thing with Dark Side of the Moon.
and the
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. There we go. Thank you.
Hail
That's all.
Satan 666. Hail Satan.
We lost our Luna. She's totally lost it.
Now
Once
we can
again,
do what
did we
people
ever?
ask.
No,
We've lost everybody.
just play
at this point.
Papaya backwards and that's all you hear. Your sheep is God. Hail Satan 666.
Over under on how long before people demand to be able to put their own music into the orchestrion.
-5 minutes.
It's already happened.
Yeah, you already
Yes.
did
Yeah.
it. You just asked.
You just
No,
I
asked.
did it.
There you go.
I'm
Right.
certain that someone has already asked. Like besides just now.
Probably.
All right, so we touched a little bit on Calcabrina and the Anti-Tower. So Nightmares are a go.
Luna's cosplay for FanFest.
What about that video they showed for Lost City? Did anybody else kind of get a Doctor Who feel on that last boss?
little bit. I think
Yeah,
that last
yeah.
boss is Seraph, though. Because the Enderport definitely have some white magic connections.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
possible, but I couldn't help but remind me of those stone angels.
Don't blink.
Don't blink. Those
And this-
creep me the hell out, though. You want-
Right?
So
talking
will it
about
have
creepy.
a thing where if you turn away from it, it murders you?
Something like
Like
that.
kind of a reversion
be
of the usual
cool.
gaze attacks.
A reverse petrifaction.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to stare at it at all times, otherwise it just goes ham.
But everybody's favorite thing's coming back. Hildebrand.
Hmm.
Oh yes, Hildebrand.
And you gotta love how Godbert is just doing the Manderville as his son crashes into the sands of Thanalan.
He knows what's important.
Or wherever they are.
Manderville, man.
But no, I'm really interested to see what they do. I'm glad they didn't spoil anything on that quest line because I just love
Mhm.
watching what they come up with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really confused as to why he's here in 3.2 and not in 3.1.
Because he was up on the moon?
He got blasted that far into space.
Sure, like lore-wise, I get it, but from a production standpoint, why have him show up in 3.2 and not 3.1? Unless people were so infuriated that he wasn't in 3.1 that he's now been added in to appease the masses.
Or
No,
they were
I-
just too busy with the Verminion.
They were super busy with their 8 storyline missions. You're right.
Yeah,
Now, on a
go ahead.
Yeah, the entire budget for 3.1 was for Minion. Let's get that out.
I mean, for a more serious answer, I feel like given the tone of the quest with the main in the main scenario, as short as it was, they wanted to have a sort of a more serious. Hey, look at the repercussions of all the stuff that's going on. There are tough times ahead for Ishgard. Like I feel like they kind of wanted to have that feel a bit more, and throwing in Hildebrand along with that. I mean, they did have the Scholasticate quests, which were also a side character thing, but it was still a little bit more of a serious. Hey, let's look at these kind of serious issues that are going on in Ishgard.
But
So
Sure,
if I
but
had to guess,
they had Hildebrand along with 2.55, where all the scions died.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could have easily put him in with the Scholastic kit. I mean, that
Yeah,
it definitely could have
in
fit.
the
Yeah.
Scholastic kit.
I am actually happy he's not involved with the Scholastic. I love Hildebrand, but I do I don't want everything to sort of be a rehash of the previous one. So trying something a little different with that and a little bit more of a serious investigation, I am really enjoying.
Well, they
I love
didn't say
Hildebrand.
that he
Just
wasn't part of the Scholastic kit, right? So considering that Briarden is there, we could still see him in that quest line, right?
Yeah, I thought that when I saw Hildebrand appear, I thought that was going to be confirmation that he will be involved with Brearden.
I'm hoping not.
Well, we'll have to see what happens.
I'm just going to be a buzzkill here
Darn it, Sarah.
Why, Sarah? Why?
Somebody has
because
to.
I secretly hate fun.
How dare you? How dare you hate fun?
I need a mustache that I can twirl.
A Teleggy style one.
Oh God, no! I don't want to get cut in half.
So-
Like that guy deserved it. I don't want to deserve it.
Spoilers.
I'm sure everybody's been
Oh my
through that
god,
part.
come on. Yeah. By now, I think you don't have to give the spoiler
Wow.
alert anymore.
No, if anybody's really in Heaven's Word, that can't be classified as a spoiler anymore. Come on, guys.
That's true.
Luna, I have some bad news about Snape.
What? What happened to Snape?
So,
I can't even do it. I can't even do it.
come on, it's too soon, man. It's too soon.
Missed you, Alan Rickman.
I mean, Dumbledore would have saved him, right? Right?
Oh, Luna.
Oh.
So, how about those new recipes, huh? That new glamour.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's stuff.
Ooh.
The Diable High Elegant gear in
Yeah,
there.
that's kind of cool. So, you were talking a little bit about before the show. Seo and I were kind of having a discussion. You know, they said that they wanted to actually make a lot of this new craftable gear relevant in Endgame. So, you know, we were just trying to think about, you know, what would some of the eye levels be for some of that, and like, what are the dungeons going to require? You know, because
Yeah,
what-
is this good?
Go ahead.
Is this going to require stuff out of dungeons? Are they going to be doing more stuff with the favor system? I feel like that's been kind of languishing lately.
I think they've confirmed they're going to be adding more stuff for red scripts, so more favors
Right.
and stuff like that. But you know, as far as, you know, what we're going to be getting out of the dungeons, you know, so if we just can go along where we've been going so far, like the last set of dungeons gave us I-185 gear and had an I-170 requirement to get in. The new dungeons, you think what it's going to be? What about I-190 to get in at this point?
I think they've said it somewhere, and I think it is 190.
So is it going
Yeah.
to drop what, 205 gear?
Yeah, it's always been whatever the minimum item level is for a dungeon, it's always going to be, or it's always has been 15 eye levels higher.
10 or 15 depending on
actual
where
gears.
we're at, right? So then what's this new crafted level gear going to be? Are we going to be higher than I-210 then? What is everybody's thoughts on this?
I think it's got to be somewhere between 210 and 220 because they said that they want to make it relevant for world progression.
Yes, I mean, if it's going to
Yeah.
be relevant, I mean, it can't be, you know, I-200 stuff, right?
I mean, that was like the big thing they ran into the entire problem with Alexander and all the other stuff, wasn't it? Not having the right tuning on those levels.
Void Ark's already I-200. I don't think they're going to keep it at that.
Yeah, you'd hope
Yeah.
it's going to be higher than that. I mean, so you'd think it's going to be slightly higher than what the current top is, which is now 210. So I'm hoping for the top end crafted to be at least 215.
Well, they
I
said
think
that they
it's
want the
gonna at least
crafted
be
gear to be
220.
more important, so yeah, it would have to be.
At
I would
least.
think at least 215 to be
Mhm.
worth it.
Yeah, because I know the new lore gear, that's going to be 220, right?
Right.
That seems
They
to be
follow their pattern, yeah.
about 10
And
levels
the general
below
thing
top.
has
Go ahead.
and the general thing has been that the crafted is a little bit lower level, but you can high quality it and also stick materia into it.
Yeah, but I mean, you could be able to stick materia into everything, but you'll be able to forbidden meld crafted stuff.
So it's still the thing where the materia gives you it starts out weaker, but materia can make it stronger.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what that does. Then the only thing that I didn't throw into our notes is, what do you think we're going to get for gear out of Midas Normal? Is that going to be around the 215 as well, do you think?
I think that'll be about 220.
Well, that's what we're going to be getting for lore gear, so I don't think it'll be the same, do you?
If they want to keep it the same as they did last time, it would be 220 upgradable eventually to 230.
Yeah, for the tome gear, right?
Well, no, for the Midas gear, because Alexander Current right now is 190.
Yeah, not
190
upgradable though.
Not upgradable 200. That's right. Okay.
No, it's just 190, and then the Savage gear it was 210.
210. That's right.
And,
So would they make it 210 and 230?
see, that seems like it'd be kind of low because we're already, right. The current top tier is 210. I mean, are they going to put basically a fourth set of 210 gear in?
I don't think they want to keep the same trend that they had last time, so I think they will change it up, but I'm not sure how.
I mean, that's what I was wondering. If there's going to be 215 maybe.
I think we're probably going to see a bit more power creep in 3.2, and I think we're going to see just a bigger range of eye levels.
Do you think maybe the top will be 240 instead?
Yeah, so my guess is that the dungeon will be 205. I think that the crafted will be at least 220. I think the Midas normal will be at least 230. I think the lore will be 235, and Savage will be 240.
All right.
Wow.
Write that all down.
I'm
if he's
calling
wrong
that
on
now.
any of it, we get to set him on fire. That's how it works,
Okay.
right?
Definitely, we have
how that
to
works.
purge.
I just wanted him to buy us some tacos at FanFest.
Ooh, tacos.
Okay, if I'm wrong,
Okay,
I will
let's do
buy you
tacos.
tacos.
If
Okay,
you're
Just
right,
stick
can you buy
around
us
you guys
tacos?
anytime there's food I need. Like getting shawarma, I'm getting tacos. It's gonna be a
Right?
party.
Yep. Sushi, that's going to be a thing.
If
Yeah.
you're right, do we still get tacos?
I will buy.
Yes.
I will buy you guys sushi as well. How's that?
Oh.
yes.
Oh, hells yes.
Tacos and sushi.
I know
Not at the same
Eskalia's
time.
in.
Together at last.
Shawarma, tacos, and sushi. Whose bathroom do I get to use?
So
Theo's.
Hotel lobby. How's that?
Hotel lobby. All right. Note to self: use easy to get out of cosplay.
All right.
Now I'm
Hairstyles.
hungry.
I think the hairstyles they're really pulling off of Type 0 for their
Oh, yeah.
influence.
I might
I like
actually
them.
try that new Lalafell one. I'm not sure yet.
They're kind of, some of them are interesting looking, some of them are I mean, they're better than an afro.
Don't go knocking the afro.
I will knock the
How
afro.
dare you? How dare you?
Oh.
No,
Okay,
knock
then.
the afro. It's hideous.
Right.
But
But
it
it's
has
so-
Afrophysics. It
It's so
jiggles.
hilarious.
But
Okay,
it's
I
awful.
wanted you to go through things in your mind, and outside of Jello, I want you to name me something that jiggles and you're happy about it.
Boobs.
If we only had a drop button right there.
Does you're the dicks that you're used to are they jiggly around you? Because typically speaking, I don't prefer them when they're jiggling.
That generally means they've had a little too much to drink.
Oh God. Or I bought them from the store.
Oh my!
Welcome to Phoenix Down Radio After Dark.
Well, that's a different term that you're looking for. It does also begin with a DI.
Hey, you can call them dicks. They're just not attached to anyone.
I was on a date yesterday, and it was our second date. We walked into a Spencer's Gifts, and the girl came right up to the front of us and asked, "Good news, we have a 2-for-1 special on lube today."
Well done.
To which my response was, "Honey, I was just saying we need twice as much lube." She did not know if I was serious, and I was very happy.
Oh my.
Oh man.
I knew this wasn't going to be a mistake. I knew it.
Oh, man. When you have
This is
Eskalia on the
beautiful.
show, you get to hear all about cherry-flavored lube.
Ooh.
Tell
Oh,
us
God.
tell us more,
Do you guys want to
Senpai
hear a really bad
Eskalia.
story? Do you guys want to hear a bad story?
Go ahead, Senpai Luna.
Okay, so when I was like 15, I was home alone. My mom was on a cruise. I went digging through her drawers, and guess what I found?
Oh,
Cherry
no.
flavored lube.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I have to bleach everything.
I have to bleach my brain?
Luna, I don't know how to tell you this. At some point, your parents had sex.
No way. Well, no, because okay, this was when she was with my stepdad, not my biological dad, my stepdad.
Good night,
After that,
folks. At some point-
I just assumed that
At some
just
point,
because
they
we live in a
probably-
bar and
At some point, they probably also had sex.
you know what? Speaking of which, 15 is the age that I met Klaus at, so this kind of connects all in kind of one big line. Lube,
Yes, your parents had
Klaus,
sex and you met Klaus.
life of perversion.
Well,
What did
it
I
all
do?
adds up.
So I
Wait,
heard
what?
you changing the name of the show to Rated R Radio.
No, we're now Phoenix Down After Dark.
Oh, okay.
So,
I will consent to this.
Consent
Chili,
is important for
chili.
these things.
Chili, I'm a Lala. My parents just planted me.
are you sure you weren't some
That
sort
is
of
a much
elegant
more
experiment?
acceptable origin story to Lalafell for me.
So, what? So now I'm Klaus is made of cherry lube. Confirmed. What?
You heard it here, people.
Illuminati confirmed.
Half-Life 3
Klaus, I want
confirmed.
to taste your cherry lube.
That is not a Tootsie Roll in the center of that lollipop.
I have never been so strangely turned on in my life.
All right, Klaus, I have one question for you.
Oh boy, yes.
How many licks does it take?
Oh God,
The
guys,
world
I just
will
remembered.
never know.
Guys, I thought this wasn't going to be a 3-hour show.
Guys,
I
did we
think
just
my
go to
parents may be
Eskalia?
listening to this.
Did we just get derailed beyond
Oh,
any kind of
We've
I'm
gone
like
way
crying.
way
Oh,
beyond the Looking
God.
Glass people. Can we
Like,
try?
I
and-
think my parents may be listening to this. This is kind of hilarious.
Oh my god, I will do shows.
Hi,
My
Papa
grandmother-
and Mama Sarah.
Oh,
My grandmother will ask, "How do I listen to your show?" And my response is always just like, "Don't." Just
Just-
tell me you're
just
proud
don't.
of me. Know that people are listening, and be happy about that. I appreciate your support, but don't listen to my show.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Please.
tried to explain that, but they like, oh no, we want to. So it's like, okay, you have to learn somehow.
Phoenix
I like how
Down
your type
Radio
on it.
is rising from the flame in your pants. Thank you,
Yes.
Chili. Thank you.
They have creams for that. Just to let you know, you might want to get some of that.
Well-
Talk to your doctor.
Well, speaking of cherry flavor lube, Valentione's Day is here.
Oh
That
yeah,
was a great
it's
segue.
getting, it is getting hot
know,
and heavy
I
at
knew we were gonna pull
Limsa
that so
Shaft
well.
Castle.
Well,
Oh,
we had
yeah.
to get there somewhere. We got what 2 days left in the Valentione's Day event. We've got until Monday, I believe. So if you haven't done it, it's actually kind of fun. Find a
Yeah,
partner, do-si-do, and get your ass over to Limsa.
I think
I
would
haven't
love
done
that.
it yet,
Yeah.
so if anybody's interested after the show, wink
Theo,
wink.
let's go do
Sayo
it
needs
together
a date.
after the show.
I don't
Come
think
on,
anyone wanted to be my Valentine. I haven't done it yet.
Oh,
Just bring
I
the
just
cherry
gotta
flavored
point out-
lube, and they'll be knocking at your door.
That like this year, Aft Castle, it is totally the Shaft Castle. Friend of mine came up with
Shaft.
that. I am stealing from it. I have no shame.
The Shaft
I think
Castle.
the
huh?
ass castle's way better.
Well,
Ooh,
well, I know Klaus and I did it. I don't remember much.
the Shaft Castle or the Aft Castle?
Klaus, did you roofie Luna?
I think she roofied me.
Inappropriate.
I'm not remembering any of this.
Well, nothing bad came about it. I think I was just told to like carry a fish around in my pocket and venture to the hinterlands or something. I don't know.
And then we'd be
Oh.
rich.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was supposed to go mining in Gridania and like wear brown for some reason.
Luna, is that a fish in your pocket, or are you happy to see me?
Maybe a little column A, maybe a little column B. What of it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the thing. It's actually better than the Heaven's Turn event, I thought. Getting kind of
Yeah,
back
it
on
is
this.
pretty cute. I kind of melted a little bit at the ending, even if it was a little cliche and predictable. It was still totally sweet.
But I like the fact that they are kind of throwing out those little callbacks to the previous events. So, I mean, it's shallow enough. I'm stealing that from another podcast that they mentioned this. Sorry. But, shallow enough to where, just the new person can enjoy it, but those who remember from 2014 and 2015, you kind of get the throwback to the love story between those two in their story, and yeah, it's fun. So it doesn't take
Goddamn,
very
guys.
long.
This is
but
this
Guys-
is what legacy players feel like all the time.
It's 2016. What the hell happened?
I don't know.
There are people who were born. I was thinking about this morning. There are people who were born in the year 2000 that can legally drive now.
that's scary.
We need
Yeah,
to create
right?
laws to prevent this.
I'm
no,
old.
there's right.
No, I understand why old people think the way they do. We need to stop this by any means possible.
Oh, by the way, Luna, Marth says your fish is a red herring.
Ah,
Fuck off, Mark.
Oh.
It's Marth's fault.
It's always Marth's fault.
Okay. Well, that was an interesting game news segment. For more like that, why don't you go ahead and follow us here on Twitch TV/Phoenix Down Radio. Go check out our website at phoenixdownradio.com. And if you have any comments of other things you'd like to hear about, send us an email, podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. So,
Hey guys, our viewer count is the highest I've ever seen it.
we
by
were
the
actually
way.
over 36 at one point, so I'm very happy for that. Thank you guys. We love all of you who
Hi,
are checking us
people.
out. And
I
I did,
don't know why you're here, but I love you anyways.
yeah, and hopefully you stick around. We haven't scared you too badly. I did see Metal Machine, Paul Metal, say that we were over 102 Twitch follows now, so we've hit that 100 mark. We're halfway to our goal. We want to try and hit 200 so we can give away a Mog Station Minion to a random listener. So, if you haven't followed us, go ahead and hit that little green button down below to follow us, and we'll let you know when we go live next. So go ahead and hit that.
We promise to stop talking about butts or start talking about butts. Whichever one it is you want, we'll do it.
Just tell us which one you
Yeah,
want.
I mean, we're the highest we've ever been with viewers. I think that's kind of telling.
Well, I think we're the highest we've ever been on the show, the way it sounds.
To-
That was a drug
Yeah.
reference, people.
I admit to nothing.
on that note, let me go get another
I
shot
wish
of
I could
Dayquil.
blame this on drugs.
Yeah, no, this is natural, Sarah.
That's true. All right, so let's kind of get into the discussion topic here. This is one I've actually been wanting to talk about for a while. There's a Reddit thread that I found a while back, posted by user TJ Poe, talking about the whole materia changes that are going to be coming out with 3.2. Back then we didn't have much as to what they were going to be doing, so they threw out a lot of speculation with that. So I'm just going to read a little bit about what he talked about here, and we're going to kind of then have some, talk amongst us all about it. With the revelation that Materia will be revamped in 3.2, this person's FC and them were talking about how SE could use Materia to give trait type adjustments to jobs. After obtaining certain Materia traits, you could possibly, I can read today. After obtaining a certain trait Materia, possibly through spirit bonding, the high level equipped from the latest dungeons, or things like ESO gear. Other ideas, you could get quests that require you to farm several X primal weapons and turn them in. You could be granted trait type materia. You would meld that trait materia to your gear to augment your job stats, abilities, etc. The idea that you are providing a non-permanent upgrade to gear. Interesting idea. Thoughts?
I like traits more than abilities, especially as we get into Heavensward. I've been hearing a lot of talk about ability bloat and having too many buttons.
There's like half of my abilities that never get used, and I feel a little bad about it. It's like, no, you're useful. I could see how you could, in theory, be good for things, but there's too many of you, and I just can't keep track.
I'm looking at my bar right now, and if I literally got one more anything, like another friggin' ability, I would not be able to use it properly.
I'm only able to use my bars because I've got multiple abilities macroed onto a single key.
And that's why your
Yeah.
deeps is bad.
Yeah, it is. You're not wrong.
Which,
That is
I mean,
why I don't do Savage.
No,
it's kind of frustrating because I know people are always like, yes, we want new level cap. We want more abilities. It's like, why do you want more abilities? We already have so much trouble using the ones we have.
But no, I mean,
generally, I think when the level cap goes up more, they're just going to take away abilities and put new ones in.
or change them when you know.
them
So
up.
like I said, if you were to sink down a level, you'd get the old ability back. But when you get back up to your normal level, you would get the new changed ability type of thing.
Like
I've seen that.
I
thrown
really
around, too.
like making. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was done.
I really like making use of traits just because, hey, they could take an existing one and they can modify it, so you don't have to add in a new ability. It is sort of replacing one with another, but it enables lots of interesting things. Anyone who's leveled Bard knows that level 48, you get a trait, and the entire way that Bard plays changes.
Yeah, and then you get another one at 52, and you want to flip the table.
Okay, minor detail there.
Well, I think
like,
if they're going to do something like that, they might take a look at what they did with like Dragoon and FF11. They had Spirit Jump and Soul Jump added in, and they shared the same recast timers as Jump and High Jump, but there was almost no reason that you would ever use Jump and High Jump once you had Spirit Jump and Soul Jump. So like, just make better versions of current abilities and put those in. Maybe make something a little bit different about them, but make them objectively better. Or yeah, just do job traits the next time around. Rather, when you go 60 to 70 or whatever the next level cap increase is, just do job traits.
yeah.
Yeah, please do job traits, because all of this, like, new play styles, it's fun for some people, but it's not fun for other people. So, I mean, next expansion, let's try some traits.
Yeah, I like, again, you could have something where, hey, it's still a thing, you still have a general idea of how a particular thing works. The other one that comes to mind is black mages when they're leveling. Once you get Firestarter, and you're still using the same basic ice fire exchange type thing, but now you get this really interesting element where you do stuff in different ways.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the biggest thing with Black Mage now is Enochian changing the game entirely for us.
allowing you to use Fire and Ice 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the timings involved with that.
Well, at least, yeah, your timings are going to change even more now, getting that extra 2 seconds.
Getting the extra 2 seconds, and I was talking to Nestor about the casts going off sooner, and apparently the Astral Fire and Emerald Ice Spouse, they seem to be applying, at least in Yoshi's test video, they seem to be applying when the cast leaves his hand rather than when the cast hits the enemy.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So it sounds like almost like a similar type of thing that they did, maybe to enhance the way Ninja's Mudras worked, so it's changing a server timing.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier for us. Let me tell you.
Well, hopefully they can do that for a lot of other things. I mean, there's a few other abilities I think even on Bard where it seems like they don't hit until it actually hits the boss versus after you cast it now. So. Yeah, don't get me started on the bow casting.
Bow Mage, OP.
Gosh.
So, how about that bow mage?
Klaus, I hear you have opinions on Bow Mage.
Moving on.
That's probably for the best.
All right. They go on to talk about a bunch of different possible traits that they could throw in based on their personal play style and what they play in the game. They talk about some machinist traits like Lucky Shot, where it would increase chance slug shot and split shot get procced, acceleration, increasing turret range, enhancing Gauss barrel, and then some Black Mage enhancements like enhanced scathe, Thundercloud 2, so a new Thundercloud proc.
It's an interesting idea of having these various traits. The main thing I wonder about is from the post you describe, it's sort of this thing that adds some life to armor, gives it something where it's like, hey, you're sticking around with this for a while. But if it's a trait that really modifies the way you're playing the game, then you really don't want to give up that piece. Or if you do give it up, it's like having to relearn again how to go without that trait. That would be one of the big things I'd be concerned about. Also, just the general, hey, if it's a trait that's too awesome, it starts becoming a must-have. You see that with so many other things that I'd worry about that.
Yeah, I've heard other shows talk about it. I think even you guys discussed it on Limit Break Radio, where if you give players the illusion of choice, loadout A versus loadout B, if anybody sees that loadout A is even 1/10 of 1% better, that's going to become the go-to. So there really is no choice.
Right, the illusion of choice is dead with the world of the parser. it was easier to hide in FF11 because gear was harder to get overall and stayed viable for a longer amount of time. Like, it wasn't viable to require your Dragoon, for instance, to have all this endgame tier gear because it was hard to come by at the time. Whereas in this game, you're expected to have that armor. So in this game, where you can very easily parse out the best DPS and find out what that set is, what the BIS is, you can then expect your person to have it. It was harder to do that in 11, which is why that illusion of choice was there. Even in 11, there was a theoretical best in slot for the best DPS. However, it wasn't always viable to have it. You weren't going to, not everyone's going to have a relic weapon.
And 11 also seemed to go to a lot more effort to at least make it difficult to find. You did have the parsers available, but even then I saw like so many threads where people are debating even methodology to find that type of thing, and that wasn't always clear.
It wasn't always clear, and they were much more diligent about banning out parsers too.
Yeah.
I mean,
some of the things with,
go away, noob, that's it.
Some of the things with 11 and gear, though, is that one of the main differences between that type of game and this type of game was that there were ways that the lower level gear could be relevant to higher levels. Like, I don't know, something as crazy as leaping boots, even, where that was a level set piece of gear.
Boots.
And, I mean, 3 dex and 3 agility in that game, you wouldn't see that on a normal piece of gear until about, I don't know, level 30?
Right. Well, you couldn't have that like in this game because you can't swap equipment.
Yep.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, because that would be
well, that kinda. But swapping equipment had a lot of benefits, like keeping gear relevant for a long time.
Yeah.
Sure, but it also led to the thing where once it became possible, it became mandatory.
Yeah, I mean, if you were a red mage and you didn't have all your elemental staves, you were basically asked to leave.
Yeah.
Well, if you were a Dragoon, you were just asked to leave, so you're not getting sympathy out of me.
But hey, but then Calibra camps happened, so you can't say that too much because Calibra camps happened.
TOAU was a happy day for me and a bad day for black mages, admittedly.
I mean,
I don't know. We got Mount Zion.
Yes, you are banished to your mountain. Go grind.
Lonely black mage on the mountain.
Hey, I could solo. Leave me alone.
Yeah, go solo on your mountain.
And really, that's all anyone wanted, which is why we hated the Beastmasters.
Well, yeah, my point with the equipment swapping there is that, like, yeah, you had to get more gear. You maybe did need to have it, but you were willing to get it because you knew it wasn't going to become obsolete next patch.
Yeah, you ground out. I mean, to get the gil or grow the plants or whatever you needed to do to either craft it or buy it, and you kept it forever and ever. I mean, I had those staves forever until I gave up my account. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was an interesting mechanic. But it also, there was a lot of choice at that point though, because you could have slightly different play styles involved with that and still be a viable, maybe not necessarily damage dealer, because I was strictly a red mage in 11, so I was basically the refresh whore, or the healer in certain jungle parties and stuff like that. But
right.
It's still, we had the chance to do different things. I mean, I would bring up my ninja, sub that, and I would go solo and duo stuff. Fun times. Camping for my joy toy. And we do it with a ninja, and that was kind of fun.
I camped so many other people's joy toys.
Never got your own?
I mean, like, I didn't have the thing leveled, and I was thief, so I could do the evasion tanking for it.
When I went back to the game, almost one of the first things I did was go down and get my joy toy. That was like number 1 on the bucket list.
Oh, that was one of the great things. Stayed up 24 hours camping that sucker to get it too.
Oh God. The hours I stayed up camping for my yin yang robe. Ugh.
Oh, freaking yin yang robe.
The worst.
Oh my God.
So
I've gotten so many people their yin yang robes.
I still never got my enhancing sword from Boone though. So every time I see him pop here, I just kick him in the shin just because.
No one actually got enhancing sword. It was just a thing made up by RMTs. That is my headcanon, and I am sticking to it.
Well, somebody had one. I saw there was one on the server.
Optical illusion.
It was the drugs again.
Probably.
All the
USD.
coke.
All the coke. Anyway,
Prism powder is a hell of a drug.
or maybe you're just sniffing the deodorant.
Maybe.
Anyway, like I said, they were bringing up using materia to add these certain things. Now, I think while it's an interesting idea, I don't think it's really going to fly, mainly because, like what Sarah said, you discover these different traits that you get, you're not going to want to be without them. So I think traits should be something that should be given to the job once you hit a level or perform a quest. Agreed?
I think it's fine to have them available as a materia, but just understanding that you're going to have to probably grind them on your next set of gear too.
Or just make them so negligible that it doesn't really matter when they're,
But then if it's negligible,
obsolete.
who does it?
Yeah, or that maybe they'll stack.
Verminion 5.0.
No, that's where you get them from. You get them from Verminion.
Oh, God.
That's how they get
Please
people
no.
to play.
Anything with that.
Well, we can have a pentamelded tank come in to tell us about the fun of having to replace accessories all the time.
Well, hey, that's not going to happen anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring out the whole, melding back in 1.0 thing. You don't get to complain about pentamelds.
That's true. At least you only lose the materia, not the entire piece.
Yeah, people with, a quad meld were gods.
If you had a pentameld, you must have been insane, huh?
We usually figured they were RMT.
How dare you risk your quad meld, you psychopath?
Money must mean nothing to you.
All right, so the question that I posed to everybody is how, other than using it for possibly stat or trade enhancements, how would you like to see materia used aside from the current primary and secondary stats? Why don't we let Eskalia, have you had a chance to kind of think that question over?
We've looked at that, and I know that someone mentioned it. I liked the idea of being able to lower recast times on spells or on certain abilities. I thought that was a neat little thing. If you could get the recast time down on certain spells, you could drastically change your build or your rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're never going to put something like haste back in, because as soon as you put haste in, it literally becomes a game of how much haste can I stack.
Yep.
But I would love to see something that makes your recast time on Blood for Blood drop a little bit, or something like that.
That could be interesting. Or maybe something that... I'm just trying to think here. I can't think of any other ideas. But yeah, I mean, some of those recast times are just insane. I mean, you got 5-minute recast time on some of those long cooldown items. If you had something that maybe reduced it by 30 seconds, that could be huge in certain raid situations.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I'd love to see something that...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I think it would increase the amount of times that you'd be able to use Blood for Blood in some of those situations.
Yeah, exactly. Or something if you want to go a little further than that, phlebotomized potency plus 10%.
Yeah, potency increases would definitely be nice to see. Then again, we're looking really at traits, job ability enhancements. So they're cool ideas still.
I'd love to see some stuff with non-combat applications. One of the things I was thinking was something that maybe lets you get shards from battle, though I feel like that instantly gets abused by RMTs if you do that.
What's your thought on movement speed plus 1%?
I'm not quite sure how much. It either is so little that it doesn't matter, or it's so much that it again becomes kind of a necessary thing. On some levels, movement speed ends up being kind of a quality of life thing.
But
It does.
Go ahead.
But I was thinking if you're in a dungeon or in a raid, a movement speed bonus could do a lot to help you dodging mechanics.
It could.
Mechanics are kiting.
Yeah, but would that movement speed then also go over to your mount?
Interesting question.
So that's something that they would have to think about it for balance purposes, possibly. Because
actually,
in overworld applications, that really wouldn't. If they don't include it for that, it really wouldn't make a big difference. But if they do, you can get across that much faster.
That's interesting. Talking about the whole thing with dodging attacks, because I know oftentimes scenes in other games where it's treated as like one that comes to mind is Puzzle and Dragons, where you are moving orbs around on a puzzle grid type thing, and there's stuff you can get that increases the time limit you can do for that. And some people say anything that increases that time limit is a crutch. You should be able to do with lesser. But for people who have trouble with the mechanic, that does give them a little bit more wiggle room on that. So that actually might not be an unreasonable way to go about it. That's an interesting idea.
Any other interesting ideas?
I know for me, does anybody here remember like old Diablo 2?
Oh yeah.
I did way too many Pindle skin runs.
If you suggest magic find, I'm gonna fight you.
No. What I'm going to suggest is, does anybody remember the rune words that you could put in and how that completely, you would have like say like a haste materia and a crit materia, and all of a sudden you get like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, let me drop Ja Ithbear into my weapon and get Enigma.
That's
right.
little
It actually was Ja Ithbear. I remember that because I'm a nerd. And I also remember Chains of Honor, which is Dol Bear Ist. And I'm not happy about it.
I don't doubt that you remember it. I share your pain on it. Why does this useful knowledge never leave our brains? Or useless knowledge? Useless!
Well, it depends on maybe if you become
said it yourself.
It was extremely useful. I got to make myself sound like a nerd.
Yay!
I'm pretty sure you could do that competently and with skill. You don't need rune words for that. The nerd was in you all along.
That's true. That's true. There was a great comic way back in the day about the rune words in Diablo, and they're just talking about how brokenly overpowered they were, because they were brokenly overpowered.
Well, yeah.
He's like, here, I take this. I get this simple weapon, and let's say I put this rune, this rune, this rune, and I get Dagger of the Apocalypse. 10% chance to annihilate the space-time continuum on hit.
Sounds about right.
That was effectively how that game worked.
Yay.
And then you ran Pindleskin some more.
Yeah, and then you just kept running Pindleskin.
And then you forget to sign into your Battle.net account, and it's all gone. I'm still angry about that day.
Aww.
Tell us about it. Did Blizzard hurt you?
They hurt
Show us
me
on the
bad.
doll where they hurt you.
Show us on the doll where they deleted your
Right
stuff.
here.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I had not touched that. Like, I actually quit Diablo 2 because of 11. Before 11 had even come out.
He's gonna get his house in 14 deleted and just have Diablo PTSD.
No!
Not again! Not again!
Oh god, I hope that doesn't ever happen.
They at least email you before that happens.
That's true. Well, one thing that I was thinking about is, we've seen it with, some of the PvP materia, the slow and poison resist and things like that. Why can't we bring that outside of PvP? Why can't we, work on status immunities in the rest of the game? Where you can maybe socket some of that into accessories. You guys remember the ribbon accessories, right? You'd get like a status immunity from everything or most things. Why can't?
Sure. The only problem is the way they designed their raid mechanics is you're supposed to dodge those things.
Yeah, you can just sort of tank through or just like ignore the status elements instead of having to do mechanics to avoid getting hit with them. Then it becomes okay. Let's just stand and hack at the Stone Sea Sky Dummy for a bit.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it's not going to work for the very end bosses anyway, right? But
well, yeah,
sure.
That's what I mean. Like they designed their raid fights to require you to dodge abilities to not get hit with like those status effects and like whatnot. You're expected to turn around and dodge petrifaction.
Right.
So I don't think they would have you slot materia to resist petrify when you can just turn around.
And if it doesn't work on those bosses, do you really care about it for the trash?
it's just an idea,
Yeah, no, it's an interesting idea. I don't think that it necessarily works out in practice, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a pity. There's a lot of stuff that sounds really cool, but actually trying to get, maybe they have a harder job than I gave them credit for.
Well, they're trying to introduce a materia system but the way they've built everything so far is counterintuitive to customizing your gear.
Mhm.
They've designed everything with a BIS approach. Now they're trying to introduce a system that is, on its whole, anti-best in slot. So trying to think of how they're going to implement that is difficult. What the question is when this is implemented and when it's functioning, do we see them changing the raid mechanics to reflect that in some, say, 4.0?
Yeah, they must be really thinking quite far out if they're, because there's got to be something coming up, in the next expansion that's going to be groundbreaking and hopefully revolutionary. So we can.
There better be.
There has to be, because we can't keep going with these same 6 stats.
Yeah.
It's so easy to
4.0.
design yourself into a corner.
It is. Because, I mean, even if we can put materia and things like that in there, people want to get these specific materia in there because that makes it that much better. And if you try and put anything else in there, you're just taking away from your potential damage.
And we're back to a best in slot approach, just with a new slot.
So maybe they need to go more like a diadem style approach where the stats are random.
That's awful in its own way.
Yeah.
I'm the only person in the world who loves an RNG.
Horrible.
Well, my character loves RNG. Well, he's got all the good diadem gear, but
Yeah. We know how that went.
I got 8 crystals in 5 hours. I was happy.
Yeah.
I've got 1 so far, but I turned in my my Zeta.
Oh, well, that's much nicer. I didn't have a Zeta because I'm what you call lazy.
I turned
Me
in 2
too,
Zeta.
Kelly. High
I turned in
five.
2 Zetas, and I'm going to turn in a 3rd, mostly because I wanted the Zeta for glamours. And this is just a side bonus.
I looked at that Zeta quest and said, that's fun and all, but I'm going to go play Undertale.
That's
I still
reasonable.
need to play that.
I still have to play
And
that.
that's why
It's
we
an
can't
amazing
have
game and you should
nice
play it.
things.
No, I got
Dude,
to
we
play
have
Undertale. I
nice
got to have a
things.
very nice thing.
We have nice things, and Toby Fox gave them to us.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. He's my hero.
He's the best.
I want him on the SE development team.
Well, maybe they
That would
just
be kind
throw
of
an
great.
offer out there, huh?
I'm very hopeful that our next boss will reach out of the screen and punch me in the face. Get that force feedback going.
Do you just like getting punched in the face?
He is a dragoon.
He is a dragoon.
Fair enough.
All right. So, what other things would you like to see with traits moving forward? Because we've talked about possibly having traits as materia now, and then other things we can do with materia. But what other types of traits would you like to see, or how would you like those put out moving forward?
Can
That's
you get like
really
multi-strike hits on gear, kind of like how duality works?
Like, that's really hard to judge just because, like, so many of the traits that do exist, it's like, I would not have thought about that. That changes the game in an interesting way. So I really don't feel like I can actually judge what's going to be a good or interesting trait.
Because you've got to really flesh out how would it impact the rest of the game as well.
Yeah, at least for me, it has not always been immediately obvious. If you add this trait, if you can do this, how does that change this other stuff?
All right, so follow me on this, because I've had this idea for a trait for a while, and I've been tinkering around with it.
Okay.
I will follow you on this journey of mystery and wonder.
Okay, I think it's at least original, if nothing else. But I had this idea for a trait that you get, say, when you hit level 61, whenever it goes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what the trait does is you summon a wyvern pet, and you become a fucking dragoon.
Are you required to equip a lats to do this?
Will it make you happy if you're required to equip lats?
I don't know what will make me happy.
But then
Your girlfriend must not be very pleased with you right now.
You do know what kind of FC this is, right?
Well, I was on Balmung for a while, so I can handle anything.
All right.
There we go then. Use your imagination.
Oh my.
But then your wyvern pet takes away 3/4 of your DPS, and
yeah, it takes away 3/4 of your DPS, gets killed by a goblin bomb, and you cry in the corner for a little while.
Because
But at least I'd be happy.
because you can't resummon him for 2 hours.
Hey, it was a 1-hour timer, and then it was a 20-minute timer.
I thought it was 2 hours. No, it was 2 to start.
It was 2 hours.
Well, it was 2 to start, but then they changed it later on. Like back when they made 2 hours into 1 hour.
Oh, the best.
Well,
I
yeah,
was
but
just
at
happy
least
when they changed Call Wyvern to 20 minutes. I thought that was
Yeah.
life-changing.
It was. That's
It
sad.
actually was.
But
Well,
that
yeah, and then
was.
they actually give you a decent 2-hour.
Yeah, and then they finally realized, like, oh, wait, that Wyvern dies at, like, every Goblin Bomb. The Dragoon's DPS cannot be dependent on it.
So then they just took it away in 14.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, all right, we finally did good by Dragoon. Now to shaft him again.
Well, I mean, the whole. Like, it would be weird lore-wise, given all the stuff that's going on with the dragons. They'd be like, why have you bound one of our babies to your service? And we'd be like, for deeps? And then we get flash fried.
But you
Mad
take
deeps, man.
Everyone, I just like you to submit my name for future story consultant. I think that was pure poetry right there.
but don't worry, you taste good deep fried it and served with ketchup.
Well, what doesn't?
So
I really thought, like, they were starting to get me, like, hyped up when we were doing the missions in Onyx Shrine, and, like, we were working with the Wyverns, and, like, you know, it was getting pretty awesome. Like, yes, this is their setup. This is where they could do it. And then you just completely abandon the storyline and never go back. And you're like, all right.
But
You
know
get
that
your
you're
hopes
working
dashed
with,
so off, don't you?
Have you listened to one of my shows?
Right.
Yeah, but at the very least, you're getting some interaction with Onyx Shrine with the Nath quests.
That's true.
and they could bring it back if once the Dragon Song War is done. You never know.
I've made my peace with the fact that there's never going to be a pet job in this game. There's nothing about the way this game is made works for having pet jobs.
I mean, I was thinking about the whole thing with the companion interface. How much of it necessarily has to be a chocobo as opposed to some other creature?
Like
They did say that it's going to happen at some point that we get other things. That
Perhaps, yes, a wyvern.
If I could even just reskin my chocobo to look like a wyvern for that, that'd be enough for me.
You can put on
Really,
the Leviathan barding.
I'm just building up your hopes. They'll be cruelly dashed later, but that's all
I
you've
should get you in
got.
touch with Callow. He'd like you. That isn't a compliment.
Aww.
Oh.
Well, an idea that I had, it actually also draws from 11. Those of you who remember the merit system.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I thought that was actually a pretty cool idea, because 75 was the cap for a very long time. And when TOAU came out, they had to figure out something to kind of give us some incentive to keep playing our end game jobs. So, you switch over to merit points, and then you start getting points that you can allocate towards new abilities and traits. I think that'd be something we could possibly see here.
Merits would be very interesting here. Merits, I thought, were in 11 the very first time that you really did see an instance of the best in slot mentality. Like, there was always a best way to do it with merits in 11. But
And,
that
like,
might make it more applicable for 14.
Mm-hmm.
Huge threads of people asking, hey, what's the best way to assign my points? All of that.
Oh, yeah.
That really was the point where people started actually saying, okay, we should actually figure this out and figure out what it... They never actually used the term best in slot, but that was really the idea, wasn't it?
Pretty much, that was the idea behind it. But nevertheless, it was a cool thing that you could do to customize. And one thing about that is if you were not playing in a group, if you were playing a solo or a duo game of 11, then you might build differently.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Some of the abilities definitely were more useful for solo work versus group work.
Right.
Well,
Or you might have white mages where one of them focuses on one type and one on the other if they're going to be in a group together a lot.
Yes, a lot of endgame statics started doing that.
Yeah, different specs just to cover all different things. But I mean, we have a lot of different jobs enough right now, so we can cover a lot of different possibilities as well. I mean, you never seem to see two white mages in a static. It's always a white mage and a scholar, or a scholar and an astro, or something like that.
Right. That could actually be interesting if they could do that, so you could have two differently built white mages that would complement one another.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
It'd be interesting. Like I said, I know this system is already kind of in the game. If you play PvP, you notice that you can kind of assign points to the different abilities you have there. So I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to push it into some of the end game content now and give people an incentive to keep grinding on your main class.
Right. Having it in PvP kind of makes it an optional part of the thing. If you're not doing PvP, you don't have to worry about it, which is a little fair because I know a lot of the stuff has been designed to be more accessible to a lot of different players, and that is a bit more tricky nuts and bolts kind of thing.
But I mean, it's something that's not necessarily required, but I mean, it'll give people we won't maybe have quite as much mid-patch lull though, because people will be continuing to grind their merit points to get better at so they're ready for the next patch.
As long as there's no cap on it.
A friend of mine has just commented he has doubts about how well that would work, like the idea of 2 different white mage specs, and as his example points out, Astrologian.
There's not necessarily a best way to play Astro, though, at this point. It depends on what you've got on the other side. I mean, if you've got a Scholar on one side, you're going to probably play the more oh shit version, the healing over time. Or if you've got the white mage, you're going to play the shield version. So,
but at what are people just going to go to the hey, just pick the best 2, stack them together, bam, we're done?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, anytime that you have numbers in the situation, there's going to be a mathematical superior.
True. Well, but fortunately, players don't always go on what the mathematical superior is, because not everybody maths.
It's hard. Not saying it would necessarily happen, but it is something to keep an eye out for.
But the other thing I was thinking about was set bonuses. They're already in the game. They're just on level 50 Grand Company gear.
Yeah, the I-70 stuff. That is actually the only time I have seen set bonuses anywhere.
Set bonuses were awesome in 11. And other games
they are
that use
on
them
other
as well.
Grand Company gear now that I think of it.
But it's all Grand Company gear.
Yeah. Which in that context, it kind of makes sense. It's sort of encouraging you to outfit yourself as a representative of your Grand Company. Like, that feels honestly a bit more for story purposes than for actual mechanics purposes.
Well, it'd be interesting if you could get a set bonus for, say, having a full set of regular Alexander Midas armor. Then maybe it wouldn't be the best. Like, maybe it's not the best to put on your Savage gear until you have more of it. Because maybe a lesser set, maybe say your lore gear, if you have a full set of lore gear, is better than having like 1 or 2 pieces of Savage gear.
It's incentivizing getting the full sets.
Right.
And maybe there's certain fights where your lore set is better having to wear versus this fight maybe has something else in it that's better to have your Savage set.
I mean, I'll be honest, I like set bonuses just because it means that people are actually wearing matching sets so they look cooler.
Unless the entire set is ugly and you're glamoring it anyway.
I was like, yeah, no matter what, they'll still just glamour it.
Well, okay, yeah.
But
the set bonus is turned off if you glamour it. You have to keep it on that.
Oh God,
that's just evil.
I think there are people who are too lazy to glamour. I think they do exist.
Yeah, but both of them are jerks.
I can't argue with that.
Any other ideas that you want to see with traits?
Like I said before, I'd really like to see something with like how duality works on Ninja. Just put into like a 1 or 2% trait that every once in a while you just get like 2 Fire 2, like an instant cast Fire 2 after your first Fire 2, something like that.
Oh, so the other thing that just came to mind, something I saw with the rune system in World of Warcraft, something where you just have like cosmetic differences. Like one I remember is they're like they have a spell that would temporarily turn an enemy into, I believe it was a sheep, and you could get like various little trait type things that would change it so it turns into a different animal, or so you create like different colored bursts of things, stuff that doesn't necessarily have a strong mechanical effect, but does create a different appearance, like something that does make you feel a little more unique in that regard. That one I think doesn't necessarily. Well, yeah, so glamour for your spells and abilities.
So you can have pretty pink fires?
Sure.
And rainbow thunder procs?
You know what?
Touch.
If they added in glamour effects for your particle effects, yeah, people would do that. People would do the shit out of that.
True.
Yeah.
Because
that
glamour
doesn't necessarily make me happy, but they would.
Well, you could craft up all the things they need to make it and make a ton of money.
That was also the thing that happened in that game.
All
It
right.
turns out there is a huge business in supplying people with the stuff that to make them look the way they want. See, the entire freaking cosmetics industry.
You know,
Oh, dude, do you buy makeup? You have no idea.
Glamour is a drug.
I went shopping for expensive makeup for the first time in my life. They call it
Oh,
expensive
God.
makeup for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's so worth.
I know.
I don't
I
wear
love
it. I just have hung out with friends who do, and it's like, wow, holy crap, you are paying that much for a little tube of, okay. I mean, I
I'm
spend
kind of
lots of money
sitting
on
here.
video games, so I can't judge.
I'm kind of sitting here looking at all my Urban Decay makeup. And I'm like, oh my god.
That's what I just bought. It's amazing,
Urban
but it's
Decay
so
is
expensive,
so
and I'm pouring out.
amazing. But you're gonna look so good.
Sorry, this is now Girl Talk with Callie and Luna.
I'm cool.
So, what did everybody think? What kind of things do you want to see with traits, with materia, everything moving forward in the game? I mean, you see something coming out in 4.0? Let us know. Send us an email, podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. Shoot us a message over on Twitter at PHXDNradio. Or, just let us know in a iTunes review, what you think. All that's going to be appreciated, and we want to hear from you guys. So, now it brings us to the segment that most people come here to listen to. Luna calls it Story Time with Sarah. We call it the lore segment.
Wow, people like it that much.
Oh, a lot of people love it.
Story time with Sarah. Story time with Sarah.
So, as I mentioned, after last show when we were talking a little bit and I mentioned about how much I like Rowena, I decided, hey, it would be really fun to talk about her. And then Duty Commenced went and did their segment, which on the one hand, it was like, hey, this is cool. It gives me a lot of official information that I didn't know. And on the other, it's like, God damn it, you guys scooped me.
Sarah. Unleash the rage.
Don't worry,
Well-
Sarah. I'm here to help you because, spoilers, I happen to know a lot of never before known facts about Rowena. So
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna
dear.
help you
Oh,
out as
God.
we go.
You hear that,
Oh,
folks?
dear.
All this first-time
by the way-
knowledge.
By the way, she has a penis. So you know. Wang alert.
True
I am
story.
pretty sure that is
It's a
not
trap.
canon.
it's a trap.
If you put enough drinks in Koji, it'll become lore.
I have plans for FanFest now.
All right, Koji, listen to me. I need Rowena to have a dick. It doesn't have to be huge or anything, but I need her to have one.
Not just a giant clit. Full on
No.
penis.
No, it needs to be like straight up man dick in there.
And I'm not even doing it this time. I think Klaus is getting in on it more than I am.
I figured, you know what? Why
When
fight
in
it?
Rome,
Just let her
have
go.
an orgy.
But Rowena just did.
I-
She let it go.
Well, that's why she's
And-
got all her girls, right?
Yeah,
makes
So yeah,
sense.
we've got Rowena. Like everyone knows her, she's like the big businesswoman, fashionista, philanthropist. Like she's always had an eye for business. She's been around actually since 1.0. Some of you may have noticed in your achievements, the items achievements. There's 3 of them that are like, hey, get all the pieces of this particular set, and those ones are kind of a little weird. It's not that great armor. That one actually goes back to the stuff that introduced Rowena. There are high-level faction leagues where you could acquire one of So Rowena was added at the same time as those armor sets as, hey, here's a little endgamey thing to try to aim for. And described herself as a former weapons trader who unnamed noble had noticed her skill in this, and started being like, okay, you know what? I've got all this arms and armor. I want Allegan artifacts. Make this happen. And there she is on the streets of Ul'dah asking you to bring her those Allegan runestones. The Allegan runestones themselves, I was just looking over them, and they're actually kind of an interesting touch. Each one of them was marked with a symbol relating to one of the 12. So you had compared again relating to those 12 armor pieces. But it's kind of weird because we've established that Allag, it was kind of an atheistic society. they didn't really believe in the 12 that much, and as much as they did think about it, sort of like, oh, we've surpassed these primitive type things. So it's a little weird that you did have these stones going around that did have the symbols of the 12 on them. Not really clear what they were for. Is it possible like there's some kind of underground religious movement in the Empire? There's some other meaning that those symbols had, and like our modern understanding of the 12 came later. You have gathering leaves at St. Coinac's Fine, and sometimes those will have you find scratched and discolored Allegan rune stones, which do still have those symbols of the 12. They're shaped differently from the tombstones, so they may be something else entirely. But yeah, this is a little bit of a leftover thing that it's not entirely clear what was going on with them. It doesn't quite fit in with our understanding of the Allag civilization right now.
Because we're used to having Allegan USB drives, right?
Pretty much. And I
Pretty
mean,
much.
maybe those are those. Maybe those are more of them, but we don't actually know quite yet. It seems to be one of those random things left behind from 1.0 that that I expect. Okay, they've just forgotten about, or they've decided it's not important. And then 3 patches from now, it turns out that no, they remembered it all along. They were cooking up something in the background. So back before the calamity, she was hanging out on the streets of Ul'dah, but at once the Realm Reborn began, she moved out to Revenant's Toll. Revenant's Toll itself was originally just another Aetheryte camp in Mordona, and you can actually see the ruins of that camp to the west of the present-day Revenant's Toll. But over time, she's worked with the Adventurers Guild, provided the financial backing to turn Revenant's Toll from this collection of tents and walls into this big, thriving, well-fortified frontier town. No longer is she just like working with a couple specific nobles working as their proxy, but she's got her own business. She still collects arms and armor from people who are interested. Seems to work mostly in trade and in script rather than in direct money itself, which is an interesting touch. But she does source tombstones and other weird baubles from us adventurers, trades those to her patrons, gets arms and armor from them. Several NPCs under her employ will talk about how her House of Splendors has negotiated to be the exclusive supplier. She definitely seems to understand the power of having a monopoly on something, having control over the supply lines, and being able to leverage that around on all sides. We have seen that she's started a branch of the House of Splendors in Idleshire, and in the last patch we did see those scaffolds start to go up, so we can definitely expect to see some of those changes happening in Idleshire as well.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things for me in 2.1 was seeing Revenant's Toll going from that like little shanty town tent city and turning into this big, thriving city with its own music, and that was really cool.
And yeah, I remember when patches would be coming, people would situate themselves there, talk about like what they expected. You'd have people who are kind of racing to be the first to get themselves up to some impossible perch. Like, it was one of those things, like we've talked about it before, where, hey, here's this bit of it that was growing, developing, that did sort of feel alive in its own way. And Rowena is the person that we have to thank for that. Like a lot of NPCs make comments about the types of things that she pays attention to. She's very big on following adventurers. You can see in lots of other parts of society they treat us as the murder hobos that we tend to be, but she sees us as the people who go to dangerous places and bring back those artifacts. And so a lot of her businesses are designed to cater to adventurers. I can't imagine that there's that many other people who want these exotic arms and armor. You have the vintage armor, those I-90 pieces that replicate the artifact armor. One of the NPCs in the Diamond Forge mentioned that at her behest, they no longer keep a large amount on hand. They just do them as commission pieces because she's noticed that they are no longer in style and she's not going to keep anything around that isn't moving. Rowena herself, she changes outfits pretty much every patch. You have the whole thing where you can find her in her office in Revenant's Toll. You can teleport to Idleshire, and you'll find her there as well. And she's actually put a miniature Aetheryte in her office.
We didn't know that until today.
Yeah, we just found that. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can ask her about it. She mentions that she doesn't normally like to take payment in goods, but having something that saves her the few minutes to go down to the big etherite, every minute of every hour of every day matters. That's the kind of person she is, has this very hands-on approach. She is, even as her business grows, she seems to be very deeply immersed in it, having her hand in everything. Like, she really seems to want that kind of fine control on it. She's also involved with those Zodiac and Anima weapon quest lines. The Anima weapon specifically starts because she is interested in mass producing this thing that this idea. And we saw that in the Zodiac questline as well. A lot of her employees were supplying us with the materials that we needed to make the Zodiac weapon, to get the various books to improve your Atmo weapon, the pieces that you needed to transform into the final Zodiac. So definitely something where she seems to recognize a lot of the inherent potential of adventurers, does a lot of her stuff to cater to their markets, and at the same time, because of that, is kind of responsible for elevating their status in society a bit. One of the things that I find really interesting about her is, it brought me back to the railroad tycoons in the U.S. in the late 1800s, the Big Four: Stanford, Hopkins, Huntington. I can never remember the fourth one. But you have these people who, again, are deeply involved in this business. This business has kind of changing the way that society is built as a whole. They've relentless search for profit, this determination, this really clever and insightful mind. But you also have this side that can be a little bit softer. You have the bit that's willing to go to whatever lengths necessary, ruin your rivals. But then you also have the philanthropy. You have these acts of charity. In Rowena, it was really great how they talked about, in the duty commit segment, they talked about every single one of her employees has a name that ends in NA. That's a name that she gives them. It's kind of an indentured servant name. Every single one of them also has a past involving great hardship, greater debts, which Rowena seems to have paid off in exchange for them becoming her employees, servants, slaves. And every single one of them has a scheme for how they're going to be running the House of Splendors themselves someday, or they're going to have their own, larger, even better business. And every single one of them seems to be scheming behind her back. But at the same time, I get the feeling that Rowena is aware of this, that she actually looks for that kind of person. If you talk to her in Idleshire, she talks about how she looks for women who have a hunger for making deals and trades. She can teach them everything else so long as they have that hunger. And that the house gives them the new names. When she talks about that, she's implying that it is partly taking them in, finding these people with this potential, rescuing them from their terrible life circumstance, and giving them this second chance, giving them this opportunity. Given her own history, she probably knows that they're going to be like her and have that drive. So I see her as someone who came from this difficult circumstance, has built herself up into this self-made woman, this incredibly rich, powerful, and trying to find other women who are downtrodden, who are having, who are kind of cast aside by society, and trying to raise them up as well. There's a kind of beautiful compassion in it, laced with a very strong, okay, I am going to work you to the bone aspect of it. It makes for an interesting contrast, and that kind of contrast, I think, is something that really makes for an interesting character. One thing that I think a lot of people may not have noticed, you may remember there are those various NPCs who will tell you about the hunt marks in Heaven's Word. One of them, an NPC in the Forgotten Knight in Foundation, Etienne, he's the one who tells you about the Azislaw hunt marks. And when he's telling you about them, he mentions that a lady merchant has been posting the bills for the Azislaw monsters, that a pebble fell from the sky and told her all about these monsters living above the clouds. And so it seems like Rowena may have gotten her hands on an Allegan node that told her all about Azislaw, about the creatures there, which she's recognized as both as a clear danger to Eorzea and also as an opportunity for profit. Given that she does seem to have her hand on an Allegan node, I'm kind of wondering if she is going to be able to start reading those tomestones, the stuff that she's been dealing with for so long, if she's going to be leveraging those to her own advantage. So I'm expecting to see a lot more out of her, to see her as this big power player. They did mention in the Duty Commenced sequence that she has had an interest in politics, and that there is that opening on the syndicate seat. on the syndicate, Teleji Adeleji having vacated his seat.
He just
So
split.
thank you
Wonder
for
where he
making
went.
the. I was trying to come up with a joke and I couldn't come up with anything, and so thank you. Like that was actually what I wanted. No, anything where that smug little bastard gets what he deserves. I'm happy with it. I'm happy to joke about it. Like one second after he died, it was like, okay, it is no longer too soon.
Tell us how you really feel, Sarah.
Oh,
when
well,
that blade was still in him, it was not too soon.
pretty much. So yeah, definitely a person who, again, she's got the arms and armor we want, so we'll do pretty much whatever she says, and she knows it, and she will leverage that, like everything else, to her best advantage. She's a really interesting character. Definitely, they've been hinting that there may be more development of her, that she may continue to play more of a role. She seems like someone, when the history books get written, she's going to be one of the ones front and center as a key figure in the development of various periods. God, part of me actually thinking about it, they have the whole thing about how the Scions are supposed to be like sort of these incarnations of the 12. Rowena as Nalthal, the traitors? I don't know. That just occurred to me, but
She's definitely driven by them.
I'd like to see her on the syndicate, that's for sure.
I think I think it might actually not be a terrible thing. I like to imagine that she would shake things up in a way where she's going to be going with her usual mercenary approach to business, but at the same time, that mercenary approach has led to a lot of philanthropy, a lot of improvement of things, so might not be a terrible thing.
Could definitely be interesting.
Somebody's got to keep Lola Rito in check.
Yeah.
Because
If
God knows
anyone can do
Nanamo's
it,
doing it.
if anyone can do it, I think Rowena could.
Rowena for president?
I
I mean, syndicate? I mean...
I don't feel like it's something they really have elections for.
Oh. Well, it was worth a shot.
No, it's very simple. Acquire a lot of money, and then you get to make decisions about these things.
The golden rule.
That is my understanding of pretty much the entirety of Ul'dah politics.
You have the gold, you make the rule. Though I have to say that Eskalia's little tidbits of information in the chat were rather informative as well.
Oh, I mean, there's a very, very important points in her history.
I'm not sure
Very
if
important.
Sarah was aware of those. I guess I don't remember Face Tome, but
Well,
you know,
of course not. My Pearl planted it almost immediately.
well, wasn't it initially called the Face Pearl?
Originally, but that she couldn't actually get the rights to that.
Oh, the was copyrighted.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Fine, brothers.
Syndicate's always ahead on these things.
All right. Well, what did you guys think about our little interesting discussion about Rowena? Whether you heard Sarah talking about it or read Eskalia's notes in the chat, send us an email. Let us know what you think. Podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. Check out our website, www.phoenixdownradio.com, and leave us a comment out there. We post a bunch of news, not just Final Fantasy XIV related, but Final Fantasy in general. So check it out for any new news, information, tidbits, community news, like Eskalia's charity stream coming up.
Friday, March 11th, 5 o'clock. Be there. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio.
Go check them out. We've got links to them as well. Do you have any shout outs that you want to throw out there today, Eskalia?
Yeah, I'd like to send a shout out to the 4 assholes that I do a show with. I hate all of you. I feel it a curse on my being that I have to be there tomorrow. But we're going to have a good show anyway.
Klaus, I just got inspired for some future shout-outs. I'll keep you posted.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Here we
Good
go.
job, Callie.
Well, we appreciate you coming to join us. Thank you for being the first guest host here on Phoenix Down Radio. We really appreciate it. We love you guys over at Limit Break Radio. You actually did inspire us to start this up, so we didn't totally try and rip off you guys in a Nero, but we may have taken some a little bit of liberties.
He totally ripped off you guys in a Nero.
You mean like the 3rd word of your name?
Well, radio's used a lot, isn't it?
I don't know. Is it?
I'm pretty sure they have an exclusive copyright on the concept of radio.
Yeah, it's right up there with our copyright on the.
Oh God.
Or the copyright on React.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that
Oh,
freaking.
that's a whole nother
No,
basket.
seriously, I've been listening to you guys since I think your first or second episode. I always thought you guys had good chemistry with each other. You guys are entertaining, and unlike very many shows in the 14 community, you're willing to say stuff that's not always the most popular opinion. So we appreciate that, and we like seeing that too.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that you guys are enjoying us as well.
We appreciate that too.
It really means a lot. So again, thank you for joining us and giving us your flavor of Final Fantasy knowledge.
Thank you for making the
yeah.
show not PG.
Yeah.
We had to get those sometimes.
I appreciate that.
Anytime you have me around, I promise the show will not be PG.
All right, so
Can we have him?
Go ahead.
Can we have him back next week?
Are
You
we
guys
gonna be
going
here next
weekly?
week? Someday, but
Well-
maybe not quite next week. But no,
if
that's
it gets us if it gets enough swearing, sure.
no. It's something that we want to plan for in the future, going weekly. But we are just doing it right now to enjoy ourselves. Talk about the game that we really enjoy, and just have a good time doing it. So I'm glad that we're accomplishing that.
Yep, just keep having fun with it, guys. That's all that matters.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you so much. Like I said, it means a ton to us to have you here. So
Well, I enjoyed being here.
So that wraps up this episode of Phoenix Down Radio. So like I said, go check us out on the web. Send us an email, or just let us know what you think in the comments on Twitter, on Facebook. PhoenixDownRadio.com has links to all of that. So for Luna Vox, for Sarah Timono, for Seo Mayo, and for our guest host, Eskalia Rayumasa, I am Klaus Nightbringer, wishing you all a wonderful evening. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.